of Saharareporters. So we're going to consolidate our questions into one for you. And it's first to correct you that for the last 3 years there has not been any fires. There was a fire incident in Lagos that killed 30 people. Accident this year, you know that. So correct that. Secondly, we just want to ask very quickly, Lagos has a big tax issue. And your tax is collected by a private firm known as Alpha Belta, owned by the former governor. How much do you pay him on a monthly basis? No, please. Secondly, it has caused a fight between you and him, which is threatening your good works as far as people know. You know, why are you afraid of being investigated for corruption as you have been fighting in the courts, right? And finally, Lagosians are complaining about deodorization of the rich people's end and ghettoization of the poor people. That you don't actually construct roads in places like Ayobo, whereas you have a beautiful toll gate road in the rich area. How do you intend to deodorize the ghettos? Those are my 3 questions. Thank you.
I want to start first, the gentleman who on your issue. Yes, if you are correct, the pipeline explosion.
Not pipeline, was an accident involving a Dangote truck that killed 30 people this year. It was a fire accident, yes.
That happened in Ogun State, not in Lagos.
That happened in Ogun State?
That happened in Ogun State, not in Lagos. It was an unfortunate incident. But there's a boundary there. The long bridge separates Lagos, and it was an unfortunate incident, no doubt. And we wish that we could have done more, in spite of where it was, to save lives. But that's the case. In terms of the toll road, the reality of the toll road is that, first of all, at the time that road was commenced, Lekki area is the area that I've alluded to in my presentation. It is one of the fastest growing real estate corridors in Nigeria today. And that road was served by, that estate was served by just that road in a way that created genuine fear that that corridor may end up like the Western corridor, where the growth outpaced the road and nobody wanted to live there. And these concerns came at the time in the last administration where there wasn't enough money to commit to that project. We went and leveraged on the goodwill of government at the time and got a private company to come and finance a toll road. It was the first toll road of its type ever undertaken in sub-Saharan Africa except South Africa. And I think a lot of credit must go to government rather than condemnation, because it was the biggest endorsement of investment attraction of our state. And really, the question here is, what is so overly offensive about a toll? How much really is a toll? Because I watched people, before the development of this route started, I watched people robbed and killed in long hours of traffic. Was it the life that was more important? For us, every life entrusted to our care is sacred, and we will do everything that we think is practical and reasonable. And really, there are very few serious states in the world today that are not tolling roads. It's the challenge of urbanization and the mismatch that we have between the rate at which people are settling in our state makes it impossible and impracticable for us to put the infrastructure quickly and sufficiently in place, especially when government has many other social obligations. I think what we should be concerned about is that as a government, we should ensure that private sector makes the investment, makes decent profit, and does not profiteer. I think that is where we should hold us to account. And whether it's roads, whether it is hospitals, whether it is schools, it has always been the combination of public and private sector that delivers in every economy. Some people never use public transport, they use private transport. And this is the balance we must get all the time. And if we use the same private sector funding to support security and save lives, why should it earn us condemnation for using it to build roads? I think we must take the credit for sustaining even the credibility in that challenging environment that people feel safe to come and invest their money. As for Ayobo, well, let me say that Ayobo is only a small part of the larger Alimosho. And what we have designed for Alimosho is a program similar to what we have done in Yaba and in Apapa and in Ajegule. We are building 11 roads and 4 bridges. That is designed for Alimosho. Now, Alimosho area is one of the biggest and far-flung areas of Lagos, densely populated. But I don't think that there is any road that is less than 2 or 3 kilometers in Alimosho. There are roads run for as long as 6-7 kilometers. So in the more metropolitan area of Lagos that many of us are familiar with, what it costs to build one road in Alimosho, we do about 4 roads. Excuse me. We do about 4 roads in Yaba, Sule. That is the size of the road. But as I speak, I think we have completed about 5 or 6 of the roads in Alimosho. The Fani, Man City, the Association Avenue, and the Ayeto Road, Ipaja Road is under construction. That should be finished. There is a plan to do this. As long as people come and think, you haven't done my road, you haven't done it affects our planning. Because we believe that roads are supposed to connect people, and everybody wants the road to come into his home or his street as quickly as possible. And we will not implement our plan in that way, because that was not the way it was conceived. We take it as a plus. People are asking us to come and do it. They haven't asked us to leave, which means that we're doing something right. Now, there is a question that I need to deal with, because the question of alphabet, and I think that this audience deserves to know what the situation is. I operated in the private sector for about 15 years before I joined government, and I knew what it took to pay money into Lagos State government coffers. You could actually run a government account without being in government. And all you needed to do was to collude with somebody in the bank, and they would open a bank account in the name of the government, and only you and I would be running it. And therefore, the government did not get all of its revenues. There were 4 receipts. This was the service that this company offered and provided to Lagos. And that is why revenues of Lagos have grown from 600 million naira per month in 1999 to over 14 billion naira today. A lot of loopholes have been plugged. Now, if this company is offering service, I think it is only fair to remunerate it. Now, the jury will be out what is fair remuneration, and those will be the issue. As far as I am aware, this company is not owned by government, and unless you have proof. You see, because I think we should be very careful. We should be very careful in making very, very unverified statements. And this goes to the allegations that you have alluded to about me corrupting myself. I challenge anybody who has evidence that I have corrupted myself to bring the evidence. I will not run a government on the pages of newspapers. I have a job to do here. I make no apologies for how I do my job. With every belief that I will be called to account, and I am ready to account. But if anybody has any evidence of allegation of wrongdoing, it's easy to make allegations. That is the burden we bear in public office, true and false. But if there are allegations, I will respond to them. Let them bring the allegations. I mean, the evidence. It is easy to allege that Mr. Fashola has stolen. I have asked people how, those who suggest, for example, that governors take money from Abuja and share it, to even ask themselves how money is transferred at the monthly federal allocations in Abuja. Nobody gets a check. That is the reality. At the meeting that holds in Abuja every month with the 36 finance commissioners, all they do is give each state its account of the revenues that came into the country, the sharing formula, and what your balances are, so that you can falsify and surcharge that account if you disagree. Once you all sign off, the central bank transfers the money into each state's accounts. Now, how can any governor lay his hands on money in the bank account without it being traceable? As a governor, I don't sign checks. None of my commissioners sign checks. The accounting officers in the Lagos State Public Service are the civil servants, the permanent secretaries. All I do is sit down and approve recommendations for expenditure to be incurred. I don't touch vouchers. And then,
I love that, Governor.
In case you do not know, the Lagos State Public Service finance system is computerized. And therefore, you cannot expend money in that government without a budget head, a budgetary code. It is only when you have fed that into the computer that it generates a check with an account that has credit against which you can pay. This is the reality. And I think you should do more investigation and let those who read you, because I don't.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Governor Fashola, would have loved if you answered the part of going to court instead of getting upset.
Oh, did I look upset?
Apparently, to be telling us that you don't read Saharareporters because you don't read you. No, it doesn't matter. It sounded as if you were upset. Why did you go to court, for example? Why did you go to court if you wanted to throw open your account? No. You shouldn't have gone to court. You are the one who went to court, and that's the question we are asking. No. It's not cheap, Governor. It's always good to have some respect for citizens who ask you questions instead of getting upset. It's true. It's absolutely. If I was BBC, he would give me attention. But because I'm a Nigerian internet base, you don't read, you don't give me attention. No, please.
Oh, citizens have the right to know.
Yeah, we should have a right to know,